Welcome back to the Desk Talk Podcast with your hosts, Trent Werner and alex.smagala, bringing you weekly episodes talking business, personal development, and all things real estate. Let's do it! Welcome back to another Desk Talk Podcast episode! Today, we're talking about finances and why it's cool to talk personal finance with other people. It's not a weird subject. It's not a scary subject. Be cool with it, man. Just talk with your friends and family about personal finances.
It'll go a long way. It makes you cool when you talk about it. Being open about your finances is a cool thing. Don't be sheltered about it. Don't hide it. Don't feel embarrassed about it because there's always room for growth. So just look at it in a way where you're sharing your finances to grow. Like, everyone around you wants to see you succeed. People aren't going to make fun of you. If they do, get a new friend, or family's never going to make fun of you over finances, let's be honest here, but friends might. So get a new friend if they're going to make fun of you over finances, because it's not a true friend.
Family could. That's an option.
I don't think family will. But anyways, talk about it because it's important. I mean, I see it so often in the mortgage world where husband and wife come and apply for a loan, and I pull a credit report, and then I go and review that credit report with them, and husband doesn't know about wife's credit card on this side, and wife doesn't know that husband financed a Razor scooter or a Razor ATV. You know, there's just so many circumstances where
he financed a Razor scooter.
Yeah. Not a scooter. It was a Razor ATV. It's a big difference. Something you should finance, a Razor scooter, don't finance.
Razor scooter, you can buy cash.
But yeah, so just not talking about it in a relationship, husband-wife circumstance, like, it blows my mind how often I have to be sitting there and on a Zoom call or on a phone call acting like a marriage counselor and sitting there like, oh, well, yeah, you didn't know that this credit card's maxed out and they've missed payments and this is finance. It's just, it blows my mind that people don't talk about it. So
especially with their significant other.
Yeah.
Let alone
makes it worse.
Friends and family.
Makes it worse.
The reason why I think it's important to discuss this topic with friends and family is because if they are a true friend or a family member that cares about you, they're going to offer advice. They're going to offer help when you need help. And it's also important to talk about it with people that you view have done the things that you want to do. I know we touched on it on the previous episode, but I think it is really important to discuss these topics with the people that you are influenced by. So, I mean, I've talked with my mentors plenty of times about where I'm at personally and what my goals are, and they've offered advice and help to try to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And without discussing that topic with them, I don't know if they ever would.
I mean, they won't.
Because
even if you do discuss it and you lie about it and you inflate it to try and look cooler to your mentors, it's just like,
oh, this guy must have it all figured out then.
Yeah, they're not going to want to mentor you. And I mean, if you're actively out there getting mentored by someone, like, be brutally honest about everything. Don't lie, because they've probably been through that situation and that's why they're mentoring you. They're going to help you and pull you through the trenches. Don't lie. Like, to say that you have all this money when they're going to tell you to go out and do something with it, but then you can't do that because you don't have, it's just like, lying about finances is the easiest way to kind of someone to figure out that you're lying about it. Like, you can't really hide it. When you lie about having money and you're telling someone you're going to go do something and then you don't do it, it's like, well, what happened to the money that you had? Like, you told me that you had this money. Where is it? So it's just hard when you lie about finances. So don't lie about it, but start talking in a truthful manner about it, because people will find out eventually.
And it's going to be uncomfortable at first for some people. I've never really had a problem with it, but it is going to be uncomfortable for some people to talk about it. And like you're talking, be honest and don't worry about what they think of your financial situation. To be honest, most of the time when I have conversations like this, I don't care about specific numbers. I don't care about, how many zeros you got. It's more so the concept that you're you're taking or the process that you're using. Yeah.
And why are you doing it? And what's the end result going to be? It's the scientific process. What's your hypothesis? How are you testing it? And what's the result? That's what we need to know. Like, we don't need to know that you're making $1 million here, you're doing this. It's just like, cool. Just tell us what you're doing, and let's talk about finances and be open about it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and it is as simple as that, because I think having a conversation about your overall plan is good. And it's also a good conversation to have with someone that's in a similar situation as you, because now you have two people working for the same goal, albeit not together, but at the same pace.
Accountability.
Yeah, and it's like if you have a problem at work, if you're, you work at Nike and your manager says, hey, can you do this? You're going to go ask someone on your team that's done it, hey, can you help me figure this out? And they're going to show you how to do it. So if you had someone in your corner that whether it's a family member or friend, and you had a problem and you went and asked them because they've done it, why would that be more awkward than asking someone at work for help? I don't personally understand the awkwardness of the conversation or this topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's big to say, like, taking people's opinions to heart is just never beneficial for you. Mm-hmm. Like, certain instances, like advice, there's times where you can take advice to heart, but like people's opinions judging you for certain things, the way you think, the way you act, the way you use your finances, there's so many different beliefs out there, and judging one based off of a belief it's mind-blowing to me. So, like, who cares? Don't let it get you to heart. Don't let it pain you. It goes back to, like, even like appearance. So many different things people are self-conscious about, and it's because people are judging you over. It's just like, who cares? At the end of the day, like, their opinion does not matter. And I think that is why there's such a stigma around talking about finances with certain people, is because of people judging. It's this race to who's the richest. And if you don't have the money, then you're this poor person off on the right, and everyone forgets about you, when in reality it should be like a team effort. Like, we're all in this together. We all live this one life together. There's nothing different about it. Let's carry everyone together and work together to create wealth amongst everyone. That's my kind of philosophy behind it.
Yeah, and going on that, it's when someone, for this example, if I went to my mentors that I work with a lot and asked them a question, most of the time, people that have done it and are already where you want to be are willing to share how to get there and their stories. Because money is, although I don't really do anything strictly for money. Money is kind of a byproduct
of your work.
Yeah.
Everything you do.
But people that have achieved these goals and accomplished the things that you want to do, most of the time, they don't care about the money. They don't care about adding more units. Obviously they're going to do it because they enjoy it, but they enjoy helping other people. They want to pass that knowledge on and bring other people up to their level if they can. That is
happened to them.
Yeah, it's that gratification or gratification that they get.
The student becomes the teacher, and that's like you're a student until you become a teacher, and that's kind of the next passing the torch over, is once you get to that age, you start passing down your knowledge.
Exactly.
It's like going to the deathbed with a ton of knowledge around a certain subject. It's the same thing as like baseball and why I want to get back into baseball. All the lessons, all my life of playing, there's so much knowledge pent up. It's like, give it back. Let's go coach. Let's go do something and give back. Like, I've reached that peak in my life where it's now time to pass the torch through teaching.
Yeah.
So many people reach that, whether it's, they get to the end of their retirement and they want to start to come back and have fun. So they mentor people through business and they coach you and help you. And that's kind of their high, is helping people. It's just a stage of kind of life, the next stage, once you get to a point where someone's like, all right, I'm ready to teach now. And that's how it should be. You should always be learning until it gets to a point where you feel now it's like, let's pass it down and teach. I'm done kind of quote unquote working.
Okay. So now let me ask you, where do you got your money at?
Yeah.
I'm not asking like the bank name. I'm talking like
Wells Fargo, USA. Those are the two places. No, crypto. I've got a lot of money in crypto right now. I've got some money in a bank account saving up for a house. This is a bank account that I can only transfer money into. I can't transfer out of right now.
Is that a thing?
It's also, I set it up to be, so that's the way I set it up is basically I have no app on my phone. I don't log into the online banking system. The only way I can do it is if I go into the branch and like talk to them, and I don't have a card linked to the account. So it's just like purely a savings account. So I'm just dumping money into that for buying a house. So obviously money's there. And then because I'm renting still, I have a lot of money going towards the good old rent.
Yeah.
Stocks, investments. My investment portfolio is there. 401k.
What about defense? Do you spend any money on defense?
What do you mean by defense?
Like insurance and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I have whole life insurance through my employer. So pre-tax dollars out of my paycheck goes to a whole life insurance there, and the beneficiaries are my brothers. Stuff like that. I had one set up with a financial advisor, but I'm not utilizing that anymore because I found out I pay for it through my employer. I have really good benefits through Fairway. Well, really good. I mean, they're good. They're good for a mortgage company. Fairway is independently owned, which is a great part, or not independently employee owned, which is a great part about working for the company. So I have stock every year that I work for this company. I get stock. So I have employee stock ownership program is what it's called, ESOP. I have the ESOP program for working through Fairway. So I've got that. I mean, just tons of different things. Eventually, once you get to the point where I'm going to start to think about, having kids, creating kids, then it's going to start to
building kids,
creating offspring.
Okay.
I'm going to start like accounts pre-having kids so that they're already juiced and stacked up, whether that's like college, whatever it may be. But I want to be at a point where I'm comfortable and financially stable and can have them instead of, oh shit, I have one now, let's plan. I want to plan it out way ahead so that in the coming years of working and having a kid, it's not like I'm putting money away. I've already have that money away. But what about you? Let's talk about you. Or I guess we can dive through all of mine and then we can talk about you.
Yeah. You definitely have a plan going forward and for the future. But right now, it sounds like most of your stuff is offensive minded. Crypto, stock market,
yeah,
401k, that kind of thing.
I'm super young, so risk versus reward at this age is there,
Take the risk.
Take the risk. Yeah, I have a lot of time to catch back up if I do end up screwing myself. So the risk versus reward in my situation, I'm going to take the risk. The reward is a lot higher. Once I get to, probably 40 years old is when...
Yeah, but we're talking right now.
Right now. So, yeah.
We're diving right now.
All offense right now.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing is... So, also another piece of where a lot of money goes to is advertising. So, I advertise for... the drop shipping business and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in business, you need to advertise.
Yeah. But that's an expense. I'm talking, I want to, obviously everyone's going to have expenses, living expenses, credit card, fun, marketing, that kind of thing. But your overall plan is offensive minded, which is good because you're young, like you said. And that's, I think,
every young person should have that.
Anyone, yeah, everyone should have. To be honest, I think everyone, no matter what age, should be offensive minded. And when you get a little bit older, that's when you start adding the defense, right?
We'll talk about this once I'm 100% licensed in the reverse game because I agree with you. I think you should be 100% offensive until you hit that age point where then, boom, you can get a reverse because now you're comfortable and now you can still even play the offensive because now you've got a safety net. You build safety nets through 401ks and stuff like that. So play your money. Play your cards.
Yeah. And I think it's important. It doesn't matter what avenue you choose to go big in, right? I love real estate. I would enjoy putting 98% of my money in real estate. I think it's the best thing ever. But if you're a stock market person, if you're a crypto person, if you're a bonds person, whatever it may be, commodities, Forex, doesn't matter. Whatever you enjoy the most and you want to go big in, but have something like a little piece in other aspects or other facets of investment.
What he's trying to say
assets.
there is don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
When you're so young, you can kind of mitigate the risk by spreading it out and kind of shotgun approaching something. to see where's and what is going to take off the fastest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's technically what I'm doing right now is shotgun approaching into a savings account to buy a house, into crypto, into the stock market. And the stock market is just long stocks that pay dividends. AT&T is like my prime suspect.
I got that too.
It's just things where I know I'm investing and it's not going to tank tomorrow, because that was literally my prime day trading suspect, was stocks that I bought high and just tanked and had to sell low. So it's just like you can test these things and learn that, it's not something you enjoy to do. That's why I'm passing the torch. We had Brian on for an episode. Brian's going to become my financial planner, and we're going to start to talk about how I can invest more money here. It's also planning ahead, next year forecast of where my business is going to be and the business that I expect to close. It's like, okay, I need to plan ahead and know if I'm closing this business where money is going. So it's not once I close it, now I'm deciding I want to be 3-4 months ahead, 2 quarters ahead of I'm closing this business. The money's going here. It's doing this. It's going here. It's being utilized here. It's going to make me X here. So I plan way ahead with where my money's going based off of my pipeline.
One of the best things that I've ever heard, and I don't know where I heard it. I don't know who said it. Again, I can't give credit, unfortunately.
Typical.
And it stuck with me to this day, but the quote that I heard was, if you can't manage $1,000, how are you going to manage $1 million? And what I took from that was, if you can't manage a small amount of money, if you do start making, and when you do start making more money, how are you going to manage that if you can't even manage $1,000? So if you right now are making $1,000, like you make $1,000 for a job, and you immediately go out and it's 1099, so you still have to take taxes out of that. But if you don't know that, and you just go and rip through $1,000 in a weekend, like what happens if you make $10,000? Are you going to rip through $10,000 in a weekend?
Yep.
So if you can't manage a small amount of money, how do you expect yourself to manage a large amount of money?
History repeats itself.
Yeah.
History repeats itself. It's inevitable.
I think it's important to create the habits that you want in place for the future and stick to those habits so you can handle whatever the dollar figure is. It's important to be able to handle $1,000 now so you can manage and handle $10,000 later.
Okay. I got a question for you, because I get asked this a ton. What if I don't have the funds to save because all of my funds that I make go to living expenses and other things?
That's an excuse.
Oh, it's prime. I mean,
excuses are like buttholes. Everyone has one and they all stink.
Yep. I mean, the biggest suspect you get is someone who has a lot of debt and they make a set amount of fixed income, and their income goes to majority paying off their debt, and then they live off the little bit that they have left over, and then once they run out, they go and rack up more debt. So it's like a cycle that they just, people living paycheck to paycheck go through. It's acquire a ton of debt, pay down a little bit, use the leftover funds, acquire more debt. And it just keeps happening. It's paycheck to paycheck. So it's like, how do you break that cycle? People ask me all the time, how do I break my paycheck to paycheck living cycle? Well, how you break it is absolutely living below your means for however long you're in debt for, until you can get out of debt and you stop getting in debt. Most people who are in debt have a problem with spending more on their credit cards than they make per month. If you spend $1,500 on your credit cards and you only make $1,000, how are you ever going to get out of debt?
Yeah,
it's impossible.
There's two options. You live below your means until you get out of debt, or you create more income. There's two solutions to it.
Yeah, but majority of people don't have the income to go out and try and generate another stream, because the idea is you need to have a source of income to be able to keep you afloat and then start to go after streams of income. If you don't even have a source, if you're living paycheck to paycheck off of your source of income, you need to figure out how to stop bad spending habits first. Not going out and generating more income, because it's the same thing. When you go and generate more income with those spending habits, you're going to spend that more income and you're going to still be living paycheck to paycheck.
I disagree.
They need to fix their spending habits. I mean, it's prime suspect. Oh, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. My credit's poor. You look at their bank statements and it's 4 times a day they're ordering from Postmates. It's spending habits that people need to correct before they go out and make more income.
I think it's both at the same time. Obviously, spending habits is important. Don't get me wrong. And I think that is the root of everything. But creating another source of income or generating more revenue for yourself needs to be done at the same time, or else people don't know how to grow. So, for example, like you said, if they spend $1,500 a month but they only make $1,000, that's a spending problem and an income problem. So how can you create better spending habits so you're not spending money on Postmates 4 times a day, and at the same time generate more income for yourself? Because if you can do both at the same time, then you're decreasing your expenses and increasing your income, and the bars are going to shift a lot quicker.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I was talking
the benefit of the doubt to a lot of people. Not many people can simultaneously do both,
but they can. That's where I'm trying to get to.
You'd be super surprised.
Nope.
It takes a long time in the lending world.
Listen.
Jump into my world and try.
We're not talking about mortgage or real estate. We're talking about
poor credit, and dealing with poor credit falls back into poor spending habits and having to correct those before they go out and increase income.
No, at the same time. If you decrease your spending habits to $750 a month and now you're making $1,000, you didn't increase your income. Yeah, you might be spending less, but is your credit going up?
Yeah. Okay.
But are you gonna qualify to buy a house with $1,000 on your paycheck?
No. But people who have this problem, this isn't a 6-month fix. This is something
it's a lifestyle change.
It's a long time. Like, it takes a long time for these types of people to correct their bad habits. And that's what I'm saying is, it's not something that you can go out and work simultaneously with these people. It's one thing or the other, and they're gonna fail. I work through it on the daily with people with like a 450
that's what
credit score.
We're not talking about being able to get approved for a house. We're talking about live life.
But that's what I'm saying. They're living their life. If in their equation of what you're talking about, they're living their life, they're never going to be able to qualify for a house.
But these people can rent for the rest of their lives. We're not talking about qualifying. We're talking about having more money in your bank account. They could have a 0 credit score for all I care. But what I'm trying to say is someone can go out, change their spending habits, and at the same time do gigs on Craigslist or TaskRabbit or something like that and have more money in their pocket.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not qualifying income.
Very few are going to be able to do it simultaneously.
But it's not qualifying income. It's just so they can just not live more income. Paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I think it's a simultaneous transition.
Yeah, I mean, data will prove that most people don't do it simultaneously, but that's fine. I agree with you. It's important for people to do it simultaneously. I agree with you 100%. Don't get me wrong. I'm agreeing with you on that aspect. What I'm disagreeing with you on is the fact that people can do it or will do it.
Everyone can do it.
Everyone can. It's a will.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's what separates.
Wrong word choice. But yeah, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. You've got 10% of the people on this side who are going to go out and do exactly as you just said. Yeah. They're going to fix that problem by going out, getting more income, but also solving their spending habits. But you're also going to get the 90% over here who try and do both, but then continue to just keep spending bad because they're like, oh gosh, I'm making more income now, I can keep spending it. Or, oh, I don't get a lot of paycheck this month, so I got to spend it on my credit cards. It's a cycle with bad debt and what people do.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you on the aspect of I wish people did both, but it just doesn't. Like, people just don't do that or physically can't comprehend doing both at the same time.
Well, and that's why the people that are able to do both are going to be the ones that change their lives, and the other people that can't do both are going to be stuck there for a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, this is something that
we're trying to get to the 10% here.
This is a 2-year process I'm talking about with people who have bad spending habits where they spend more on credit cards over their income because they have to start by fixing their spending habits to then go out and generate more income.
Oh, either route is going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. I mean, some people can do it simultaneously and take a 2-year process and mush it into a year. And that's like, literally, it's a home run if you can do that. You can do it. You can put the work in, put the time in and do it. But a lot of people out there who have bad habits like that just can't wrap their head around doing both at the same time.
Okay, so now let me give you a situation. Someone's got $5,000 of credit card debt. They have their same job and they pick up a bunch of shifts or whatever. They make 10 grand that month. They get a big paycheck, or, they sell something crazy, whatever. They get 10 grand. If someone was in a situation about on the whole fixing their spending habits, and now they have more income, they've generated more income.
Pull out my phone for a calculator, by the way.
All right. So they've committed to changing their saving habits, their spending habits, all this stuff. They have $5,000 in credit card debt and $10,000 check. What percentage of people do you think would pay off their entire credit card?
Oh, a ton of people.
Okay,
70%.
Okay, so now they're back at square one.
But that's not what I'd recommend.
Their slate is wiped clean.
That's not what I'd recommend.
And they have $5,000 left over.
Yep. Okay, so that's situation one.
Yeah.
Situation two is you tell them that they only need to pay down their credit cards to 30%. So you'd need to take a $5,000 credit card debt down to $1,500. So you'd pay $3,500 towards that. And now you'd have what, $6,500 instead of $5,000. So you'd save $1,500 to now go and generate more income. And you're fixing your credit on one end or your bad debt. People don't understand that you don't have to pay it down all at once. You can pay it down over time, which is like the idea of a $1,500. You spend $1,500 on your credit cards every month, but you only generate $1,000. You're always going to keep tacking on $500 in debt. If you can correct that to where you're generating $1,000 but only spending $750, now you're positive $250 and you can pay down your debt over time. So now we fixed your spending habit and you're paying down your debt. We're correcting two things kind of at once to qualify for a house. So now those two things are fixed. Now it's the generating income piece. How can we use this $250 that you're saving technically from your income, could be put to savings to go towards a down payment or a closing cost. Now let's take $250 and generate more income. What can we do with it? Can you advertise to go to maybe write stories? Fiverr. You advertise on Fiverr to get Fiverr business. Facebook, you get Facebook business. Friends do it, whatever. Maybe it's art. Whatever it may be, you're generating more income using $250 to advertise versus $1,500, $1,000. They don't, like, how can they go out and generate more when it's just credit card debt that they keep building up? Like, there's that income. Yeah, you could take $250 of it away, so you only have $750 of income and go and try and start another stream. But now you have $750 and now you have $1,500 still of debt. So that debt just became worse. Now it's $750 of debt instead of $500. See what I'm saying? It's like fixing someone's debt issue is like the primus if they're spending more on debt than they are their income per month. Granted, $1,000 a month is very low in income. I don't know many places where someone makes $1,000 a month. Maybe under the table, but minimum wage, you're not making $1,000 a month.
No, we're just using those numbers.
It's just easy purposes. Yeah. But
okay, but now, so the example that you just gave was not paying the credit card all the way off, so you save $1,500 more dollars out of the cash.
Yep.
You have $1,500 additional cash. And then you were talking about investing that money to make more money. So isn't that increasing income at the same time?
No, because you're tackling your debt first. That's what
But you're spending. You're only racking up $750
of credit card debt.
Yeah, a month now. Remember?
Of now, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that $250, you're able to pay down. I mean, we're not still racking up $750 by the time you're taking $250 to go generate more income. That $750 is down to a point where you're spending zero on credit card and you're living off of what you make. When you spend money on credit cards, you need to be able to generate way more income to pay those off. Like using a credit card to equivalent of what you make is just horrible.
Yeah.
Never, 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 never should you ever get close to that. So fixing that issue would be the first, and then taking it to go generate more income. Yes, if they get it to the point where they're spending $500, $250 on their credit cards, and they can take an extra $250 and go spend it to generate more, I'd agree with you there where they're doing both. But majority of the time, they're tackling their debt first. But I agree with you. Someone in a good situation could lower their debt down to $250 a month in spending and take that $250 or whatever, $500 to get to $750, and be able to take that and go and reinvest it and make money because now they're not paying down credit card debt.
Okay.
If they're continuing to spend on their credit cards, that's the problem. Because what we're trying to do is take this $1,500 in spending and drive it to zero and be able to pay off your credit cards with the income that you have. Obviously, you're still going to have rent and all the other expenses, so you're not going to be able to put $1,000 to your credit card every month. Most people only pay the minimums. but can you pay $5, $10, $15 more to the minimum and drive it down quicker and then get to generating more income? That's the piece where I try and connect it with people. Because not a lot of people, that's the number one question. You tell someone to go generate more income, they're like, well, with what? I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have income. I don't have $20 I can even spare. Yeah. I mean,
they can go use their time to earn more money.
That's
However,
true.
this has turned from it's cool to talk finances to...
I mean, that we're literally talking finances.
To don't be an idiot with your spending and tackle your debts, save money, and invest it.
I mean, if you are in that situation, just build a plan, which is literally what we're trying to build out without paper in front of us, and we're trying to do it, like in our heads. But this is something, ultimately, if you have a ton of debt and you're going and thinking about buying a house, this is something you go and talk to a mortgage person, and this is what you plan out, is paying down your debt, building your credit, getting it to a point where it's the best qualifying shape. Without a plan, how can you take action? You need a plan in place. Put it pen and paper. Let's figure it out. Here's your current debt. Here's your current income. Let's drive it down monthly. Like, I can build a spreadsheet for you of paying down debt and saving money and how it can positively grow this side and bring this side down. It's just simple bar graphs that people really get attracted to, but it's using their money, take their money, input it, take their debts, input it, and it calculates it like $50 a month you're spending extra to buying down your debt. Just little things like that. But it's planning. Without a plan, there's no action.
Not only is it cool to talk about your finances, it's also cool to talk about your plan.
We didn't talk about yours.
It's also cool to talk about your plan with your finances.
Can't try and end this. We're continuing. I need to know where you're investing besides real estate, because we know real estate's
number one. Real estate's number one. Stock market's number two. But we have people to do that. Our majority of our stock portfolio is someone else managing it, because I tried it and it wasn't my thing. So real estate is my number one. That's what I enjoy. Stock is number two. People handle that for us. And then stock market is number three, because that's the one that I handle myself. I've had a tough year, unfortunately, but we'll get it back. So, and then after that is probably crypto now. I'm a new crypto investor. I'm pretty pumped about
Love it.
It's a good way to diversify a little bit and ride the train. And then other than that, we have money in a flip right now, but that's real estate. And just kind of saving. I think one investment that we're making right now is in our own savings account, because we want to buy another house next year, hopefully.
An investment that he makes is into being a club guy.
That is
golf guy, club guy.
That's an expense, but it definitely comes
an investment.
It's an investment for my personal health or my mental health.
That's still an investment. That's the thing, is what people need to classify things like that as now is an investment, not an expense.
Yeah. No, my wife and I have done a pretty good job at keeping pretty low expenses every month relative to income coming in, which is nice, which has allowed us to be club people. I
think one thing we should talk about really quick before we kind of hop off on this is you were trying or thinking about buying a car, but let's kind of talk through your decision as to why you didn't buy a car. Yeah. I think, figuring out that finance piece is big. A lot of people are like, well, I'll just finance a car and save the cash and go and put it on like a home or something. It's like, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So I love having my car. I love my face all over my car right now. But I do want something a little bit bigger in terms of just
carrying capacity.
I want like an SUV that can tow stuff and not have to go home and grab a truck and that kind of thing. So that's what I'm looking at. I was getting ready to pull the trigger. I was like, I might as well just do it before Christmas, kind of buy like a Christmas present for myself. And then we sat down, my wife and I, and we're like, you know what? I kind of was like, you know what? My goal is to buy another house before I buy a car. So what went from me actually like car shopping and being out trying to schedule test drives and stuff like that, I woke up the next day and said, you know what? That's just a bad purchase. If we have money right now, might as well try to add another investment or another asset instead of a liability, and so now I'm probably not going to get a new car for a year at least, So
hey, no worries. It's
okay.
That's the Desk Talk episode. We talked about, it's cool to talk about finances
And your financial plan.
And I was going to say, if you need financial advice, don't consult me, but I can help you pay off your debt. So call a financial advisor if you seriously need help in figuring out a financial plan. Tune into one of our episodes, Brian McCormick. He's down in our description in that episode. You can contact him. He can help you build a plan to getting out of bad debt. So can I. You need to start figuring out the plan and taking action. But yeah, don't feel ashamed to talk about finances. We just talked about a ton of different finances on this episode, and we kind of shed light on some things that we're in. If you care to know and you really want to know exactly what crypto we're in, shoot us a message on Instagram, and I will be glad to tell you. But with that, we're out. Take care. Peace.
Adios.
That's the end of today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. It truly means a lot to us. If you haven't already, please subscribe and share this with friends. This helps fuel the podcast and gets more and more guests on our show. Hey, go follow us on Instagram as well. Desk Talk Podcast. Go connect with Trent and I as well. We're on Instagram too, LinkedIn, you name it. Stay tuned for more episodes. Peace.